And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Welcome, everyone, to Alaska Weather. I'm meteorologist Peter Chan, coming to you from the National Weather Service in Alaska region on this Monday, April 14th, 2025. And once again, we have a lot to talk about. No sooner did we get one system through, we have another one that is going to be bearing down upon the southwest part of the state, especially the Aleutians and Alaska Peninsula on Tuesday. And then it's going to spread further north and northeastward with impacts all the way to the Arctic coast before the end of the week. It's going to include moderate to heavy rain, moderate to heavy wet snow, and strong winds that could cause blizzard conditions in some areas. And again, that'll be spreading north and northeastward across the state as we go through the midweek period. Now, there is the potential for a G2 geomagnetic storm. It's a moderate geomagnetic storm. Could enhance aurora if skies are clear at your location tomorrow night, Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. And just a reminder, as you know, here in Alaska, the aurora viewing season is winding down simply because of the natural cycle in our orbit around the sun. We have increasing amount of daylight as we head toward the summer solstice in June. So we do not have very much in the way of night anymore, and that'll be quickly diminishing here end of the month into May. But active weather pattern will occasionally occur through the end of the month along the Gulf Coast into the Panhandle. These systems coming up, scooting along the Aleutians, brushing the Alaska Peninsula, and then coming up along the Gulf Coast into the Panhandle. That'll be the most likely location to see active weather here in the next few weeks. So out there in the eastern Aleutians, Dutch Haystack, mostly cloudy, 38, a little break in the action. That's what's left of some of the snow that fell this weekend. Another round is coming. Tuesday into early Thursday, winter storm warning has been issued for the eastern Aleutians. It includes Nikolsky and Dutch Harbor. As we go further north and east in the Alaska Range, cloudy, 34 up there in the central Alaska Range at Summit. Winds are going to be picking up there, especially as we get into the day Wednesday and into Thursday. Morning winds could gust as high as 80 miles an hour through some of the gaps and ridge lines there. But we're going to start out where we have the warnings, the winter storm warnings here for Unalaska. 8 to 20 inches of snow could fall between Tuesday and early Thursday morning. Strong north winds gusting as high as 60, 65 miles an hour. That's right around and over 50 knots. So those are storm force gusts. It could cause near blizzard or blizzard conditions. Just a little further east, the low is going to be taking a track up briefly across the Alaska Peninsula and kind of wobble before it opens up and heads east-northeast again. But the area around False Pass, Cold Bay, Sand Point, we'll see a sloppy, wet mix of snow, wet snow tomorrow on Tuesday, and then that's going to transition over more toward rain. But you're going to get a combo of snow and wind and wet snow. And then as that moisture lifts further north, Tuesday evening through Wednesday evening, there's a winter storm watch for this area along the Kuskokwim Delta, including Nunavik Island, where anywhere from say 3 to 8 inches of snow could fall, along with strong gusty winds causing either blizzard or near blizzard conditions. And as we go further, I'll step out of the way here. We have high wind watch for Tuesday evening into Wednesday evening for the Chugach Mountains, especially the area above Anchorage, Anchorage Hillside, like Bear Valley, and above Potter Marsh. We have the area also around Eagle. Winds could gust as high as 80 miles an hour, again, later Tuesday evening through Wednesday evening. And then those winds are going to also develop across the Alaska Range. So winds could gust as high through the gaps and along some of the ridge lines here as we go through Wednesday into Thursday morning. Generally southeast to south winds, so keep that in mind. And then we have a broad area along Norton Sound, the lower middle Yukon, going up the Tanana. These valleys here are going to pick up a sloppy mix of snow, wet snow, and rain as that moisture comes northward. That moisture is actually going to clear over the Brooks Range and then set up along the Arctic coast Thursday into Friday. We have strong polar easterlies because of the high pressure up there over the Arctic Ocean. So when that moist, milder air hits that colder air and those winds, it's going to create blizzard or near blizzard conditions from Point Hope to all the way east to Kaktovik, Demarcation Bay. In the time frame Thursday morning through at least Friday, midday Friday, the potential exists. So conditions are going to be deteriorating there across the Arctic coast later this week as a result of the moisture from this storm lifting north. So we have one system beginning to wind down now. It came in, even produced the lightning I was telling you about along the Gulf Coast. And we still have a pretty wrapped up little circulation here in the northern portion of the Gulf that's heading eastward. It will gradually diminish by the time we get into Tuesday morning, midday, as it continues east, just southeast there of Yakutat and just outside of the icy strait. But there still could be a flash or two of lightning with that, the instability, colder air aloft. Last night, winds gusted as high as 80 miles an hour there around Bear Valley and the areas above Potter Marsh and the upper hillside of Anchorage. And again, that system is now beginning to wane. Now here's the hint of the next storm. This is the cirrus tops that are streaming northward across the eastern Aleutians and the southern portion of the Alaska Peninsula. Late tonight into early Tuesday morning, the low continues off toward the north-northeast as of, say, 4 a.m. 982 forecast is what is forecast for the central pressure. There's the weakening low just off of the far western panhandle and southeast of Yakutat. But this is the main weather player. We still have some snow showers potential there out across parts of the interior. But as we get into Tuesday afternoon, that low will further deepen. It'll probably stay just above 970 millibars. But the backside, we have gale and storm force winds. That's why there's that winter storm warning for the eastern Aleutians. And as that moisture creeps northward, by Tuesday evening, we will see heavy snow and wind here along Kuskokwim Bay, Nunavik Island. So some sort of advisory or warning will be upgraded there once that gets here. So tomorrow I'll be telling you about that. And as this front lifts north-northeastward and begins to occlude, it's going to also create those high winds, Anchorage, East Hillside area, as well as up along the Alaska range. And then eventually that moisture will come further north. So here's on Wednesday. As this front lifts northward, we expect strong winds to develop there in the Chugach Mountains and also the Alaska range. The low is wrapped up. It's occluded. We have strong north winds on the backside across the eastern Aleutians continuing Wednesday with the potential for moderate to heavy snowfall and either blizzard or near blizzard conditions. Also, this area, the lower Yukon, Kuskokwim deltas could get hit hard with some heavier accumulating snow and wind. The areas as you get into the southwest interior, west of the Alaska range, are going to be sloppy. Enough warm air gets in there for a mix of wet snow, some rain, maybe a little sleet. All this moisture is going to creep northward, so late in the week, I can show you at least Thursday, there that moisture crosses the Brooks Range and will make it to the Arctic coast. Well, you have that high up there over the Arctic Ocean, strong polar easterlies. That's going to cause a lot of blowing, drifting snow and some falling, accumulating snow. Not especially a ton of moisture, but enough to have falling snow combined with those strong winds, and you're going to have blizzard or near blizzard conditions there from Thursday morning into the day on Friday. Meanwhile, the low is really wrapped up across the Alaska Peninsula. It'll continue then to fill and weaken Friday as that low center begins to work its way more eastward into the Gulf. But this front, as it lifts northward, it's going to spread more precipitation into the panhandle with gusty winds. We will see temperatures likely moderate and actually go upwards. Kodiak Island for a time on Thursday, and up Cook Inlet into the Anchorage Bowl area will likely see temperatures actually moderate and warm a bit once that front gets north there by Thursday afternoon or evening. So here are the temperature forecasts Tuesday morning. Coldest air up along the Arctic coast, north slope, single digits, generally above zero. Otherwise, just a bit below freezing here, near or just below freezing south central. Much of the state mainland getting below freezing, and even out here near freezing along the eastern Aleutians. Back here across the panhandle, most areas, with the exception as you get up higher elevations, Haines and Klondike highways getting below freezing, but otherwise staying generally above. Temperatures on Tuesday afternoon, generally 40s, could be an isolated 50-degree reading in the Panhandle. Areas of South Central getting back up above 40. Fairbanks seeing temperatures in the 40s up the Tanana River Valley, and even Yukon Flats, 42 there at Fort Yukon. Notice temperatures are not quite as cold along the Arctic coast, certainly not like last week or the week before that when we had sub-zero readings. And then Wednesday morning, coldest readings, North Slope, Arctic coast could be down, still near zero in some spots. Otherwise, the central interior in the 20s, South Central generally near or just above freezing, and generally most readings in the Panhandle, at least at sea level, will stay above freezing. We have temperatures near freezing. It's going to be a wet, sloppy snow there in the eastern Aleutians. 23, though, at St. Paul and the Pribilofs. And then for Wednesday afternoon, temperatures in the interior in advance of that front coming northward will be in the 40s, maybe even an isolated 50-degree reading, flirting there with Eagle. And then also down here across the lower Panhandle, we expect at least dry conditions to hold with temperatures in the lower mid-50s at Ketchikan and Craig. And here's the temperature outlook for April 20th through 24th. We find cooler than normal temperatures setting up over the eastern mainland, especially along the Alcan border into the Panhandle. Meanwhile, temperatures are forecast to average above normal over the southwest, including the Alaska Peninsula, eastern Aleutians. But the overall systems are going to be kind of moving like this. So we'll still have some occasionally active weather along the Gulf to go into the end of the month, but this is going to allow some moisture. This is normally our driest time of the year, and we're getting this moisture coming back up into the mainland interior, places that have already had a fair amount of snowfall this year. So a bit unusual that we're just staying in this wetter pattern, but that's the way things are shaping up here April 20th through April 24th. And stay tuned to later updates, because that storm will have its impacts spreading north and northeastward as we go through the day Tuesday and Wednesday and into Thursday, all the way from the eastern Aleutians and Alaska Peninsula. By the time we get into Thursday, it'll be all the way up to along areas of the Arctic coast.